ready?
Boys ready?
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Alright, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of 3 The Hallway. I'm Tariq Rashad. To my left is
My boy Rob.
And to my far left is
Nameless John.
Nameless John. Yeah, just make it a thing, bro. But happy to have you guys. Notice our backdrop is here. We are trying to improve during COVID as best we can. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for following. We back. Just like Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson has put out their promos, they back. We are back. But we got a great show for you guys today. Some of the topics that we're going to be discussing. ESPN dropped their top 74 players. We're going to talk about the top 10.
They dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball too.
But we gonna drop the bomb, drop the ball.
We're gonna talk about the ESPN. These are the ESPN writers, correct? ESPN writers,
Colleagues
analysts.
at ESPN, whoever, just ESPN.
So they did their top 10. First week we had the Red Sox. 3 weeks ago we had the Red Sox. Last week we had the Kansas Jayhawks. And this week we have Zion Williamson and accusations about cheating. So cheating seems to be the most consistent theme on the show. But we will talk about Zion and the allegations over with Duke University. The players had another players only meeting, this one without the NBA commissioner or any NBA representatives. We're talking just players. They had about 10, 12 players were part of this call. Prominent names. We're going to talk about what that meeting was about, what we should expect as fans for the upcoming weeks. Last Dance. We didn't discuss the Last Dance last week. We're going to make sure that we get into episodes 7 and 8 as the finales are coming out. By the time, if you're not watching this live, by the time you see this, you would have seen the finale. So we're going to definitely talk about episodes 7 and 8 and what we're looking forward to in the finale. Yep. And we got a like, love, and a hate it section. We're going to talk about some things in there. And back to the documentary, is LeBron receiving a lot too much or not enough? Or where is the chemistry in which LeBron is receiving so much news, let's say media attention based on
criticism?
Right.
He's been relatively quiet throughout this whole time.
Yeah, but he's been relatively quiet. But
I mean,
the media, social media has been all over LeBron, whether it be positive or negative, based on
social
the Last
Ravens.
Dance.
Shout out Game of Thrones.
The social media Ravens. So thank you for joining us, and we're gonna jump right into ESPN NBA top 10. Hey Rob, you want to jump into that top 10?
I'm gonna give you ESPN's top 10, just because this is not my top 10. I'm so happy we have a platform to speak on this so the world can hear about it. Because, in my opinion, I'm just read their top 10. At number 1, they have Michael Jordan, LeBron at number 2, Kareem 3, Bill Russell 4, Magic 5, and to round out the top 10, they have Wilt Chamberlain 6, Larry Bird 7, Tim Duncan 8, and Kobe and Shaq round off the 9th, 10th spot. When I see ESPN coming out with this list, and they're doing their they released it in articles or whatever. So they'll do their top 74 through 60, and then they'll do their top 25 through 50 or whatever the case. And I'm just looking at this. I'm just like, it's time for the top 10. They're going to drop the ball again and disrespect Kobe Bryant. I don't understand how Kobe is ranked number 9. I don't understand that. Last time I think he was ranked number 8 when they did it. But for me, the question I have is, if it's pretty much a worldwide consensus that Michael Jordan is the best player in the NBA ever, right? And the next consensus of the closest thing to that is Kobe Bryant, how is there 8 people in between those two? How? I don't understand that. So that's my biggest takeaway. I also think they also disrespected my boy Isaiah Thomas, who didn't even make the top 10. I think he was ranked number 26. But
Wade was 26, which was abominable. But continue, Rob. I'm gonna let you go on this.
Thank you for that. Because they had Wade over Isaiah Thomas. I'm sorry, Tom. But in my opinion, Isaiah Thomas is the top 10 player in NBA ever history, and it's just fathomable to me how ESPN just continuously does this and put out lists.
You think that Isaiah Thomas is better than D-Wade?
I think so, yeah.
I do.
I can make an argument that he's not. I can also make an argument that neither one of those guys would do 26
Right.
And Isaiah Thomas just
That's
should
what
be
I
higher up
talk
on the
about.
list.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah,
I don't want to argue D Wade out there right now.
but I think this list is number one. It's opinionated. It comes from. It it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. It's just what they think. And clearly, there's a lot of difference of opinions in here.
Isaiah Thomas is 31.
31. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like my whole thing about this top 10 list, it's hard to come up with a top 10 because there's so many great players. So like, I don't understand where is the consistency in the list, if that makes sense. Right? Are we talking about winning?
What are
Are we talking about,
qualifications that
icon status? Like what did they base this list on? Because to me, if that was the case, if it was icon status, then Bird and Magic should be higher than what they are. Talking about
5.
Magic is number 5 behind Wilt, and he won more championships than him. He's behind Bill Russell. He's behind Bill Russell. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Bill Russell is the ultimate winner. He's the ultimate winner. 11 championships, 10 in a row. You can't take that from him. But we're talking about the player coach. You know what I mean? That legacy of greatness, you can't take that away from him. And I don't. But as a player, and you talk about the evolution of the game and how it's evolved, and like taking modern day stats and added that to the equation, I would have Magic before Bill Russell, and I would have Kobe before Bill Russell.
I don't know.
I might have, and arguably, I would have Kobe before LeBron.
I think it's really hard to make lists like this. I think that's the first thing that I acknowledge, that it's extremely hard to create lists like this with there being so many players. When you talk about ESPN analysts, they're not our age. We're all sub 30. 30 and lower.
Todd just celebrated a birthday yesterday. Everybody had a birthday, man.
Thank you. We're getting there, John.
Start the show with that.
But we haven't analyzed some of the things that they've been able to see. Some of our childhood. What we remember from our childhood, John, you remember Jordan and some of his dynasties. I remember my first call to basketball was remembering Kobe Bryant and Shaq versus, I think the first finals that I watched was Kobe and Shaq versus the Nets. Right, I don't remember the Allen Iverson. I honestly remember the step over from all the commercials and all the videos and pictures. I knew Tyronn Lue from that video. It was crazy how he was a coach. Maybe 6 years after I saw the video. But from what we remember those guys. We remember Kobe's. We remember the Shaqs. We remember what they did. We remember the Michael Jordans, the Hakeem Olajuwons, Patrick Ewings, and what they did. When you look at the guys that were in the 80s and the 70s, that's where this list gets tough, because we didn't get to witness that. And granted, we can say, oh, they're playing against such and such competition, and they were, and those guys from those days weren't, and our guys are so much more athletic than those guys were, and half the league wasn't good. But at the end of the day, we didn't. That was the pinnacle of basketball at the time. I can truly say that we lived in a generation where the big man did not have to shoot. Now it's a requirement. Look at the people that are shooting 3-pointers now. And since we've been around, Andre Drummond came in the league as a regular big man, never would shoot a 3-pointer. He's shooting threes. Brook Lopez didn't take threes, and he had a decent jump shot. Brook Lopez, but that's just the evolution of the game. Right. So when this 6'11" ball handling genius with the rock and can shoot the ball, Kevin Durant comes around, it's like the best thing since sliced bread. These younger people that are younger than us, if they made this list, Kevin Durant would be way higher than I believe he's 7th. Where's Kevin Durant? I just saw him. But he would be higher than where he is. He's 14. He's 14. But to them, he would be way higher. To me, we look at Wilt and we say, how is such and such not as high as Wilt? That man won what? How many championships? Well, I'm sorry, not Wilt. Bill Russell. Excuse me, not Wilt. But Will Russell? This man won 11 championships. There's people that are going to say this list is crazy. This is preposterous. How could Bill Russell not be number one? And if they grew up in that generation, could you really be mad at them? Yeah. So that's where I stand with this list. So I think that when you add all of those people together, those ESPN analysts, it's hard to make the list.
But it goes back to my thing. if that was the case, and we're talking about older players,
we're not talking about necessarily winners. We're talking about it's a mixture of those people.
I know. I get what you're saying, but still, with that being said, this list still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense.
My biggest thing, I think ESPN, and I'm not gonna say I love my Los Angeles Lakers. I'll say that. I'm glad that we have LeBron James. However, I do think ESPN has a bias towards LeBron James. Like, I was listening to Jalen Jacoby, and Jalen was actually mentioning how, like, yes, at the end of the day, LeBron James is probably going to have a lot of the career accolades and a lot of the points and the records and stuff like that. But right now, he doesn't. So, like, he had a great start out there. He made it to 9 finals in his 16 years. Magic Johnson made it to 9 and 12. And, like, Magic is 5 and LeBron is 2. So it's like...
That's what I'm saying where it doesn't make sense.
What I'm saying is...
I think that sometimes they're basing it off of potential as well, and not just, like, if they made the list, it should be as it stands now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not where it can be, but as it stands now. Because when they made the other list, when it was Michael Jordan, it wasn't potential. It was as it stood. When it was Scottie Pippen and Pat Ewing. I
think that they put this list together as
right
it stands now
list. Best players going
Granted, LeBron did not win a lot of championships, but I've made this argument for LeBron, and I can see with possible bias, I can see a lot of people at ESPN making this argument for LeBron. LeBron went to 8 straight finals, right? Granted, Magic Johnson's been to 9 out of 12. He didn't go to 8 straight.
He didn't.
He didn't go to 8 straight. So to see someone for a whole decade be in the game that determines it all is new to a lot of people. That's one. Two. I'm just making an argument. Two. Who did LeBron lose to? If you look at this list,
Tim Duncan,
dynasty.
Dirk,
Not a dynasty.
who else was to?
Golden
Tim Duncan
State.
again.
Golden State. We got Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan
We got the
again.
Spurs, dynasty. We got the Golden State Warriors, dynasty. Those are his losses in the finals.
In the max.
Stain. Big stain. Big stain on his record. So I can understand why I can sympathize with those writers being sympathetic. Granted, LeBron James will not be number 2 on my list.
Here's my thing for that with those writers. Here's my question for those writers. They saw LeBron James go to 8 straight finals. These same writers also saw Magic Johnson starting at center in his rookie year, winning Finals MVP. I've never seen that before. Since what rookie wins Finals MVP? Magic Johnson, but he's number 5.
I digress.
LeBron number 2, and you can definitely make the argument that he is number 2.
And I can't make the argument he's number 2 because I'm gonna go Kareem over him again. I'm gonna give you my top 5 right now. My top 5 is Mike 1, Kobe 2, Kareem 3, Magic 4, LeBron 5.
And what is it yours based on?
His top 5 is
My
4
based
out of
on-
5 Lakers. Just wanted to say that.
My top 5 is based off of career accolades, impact, and winning. Those are my top 5. That's why they are my top 5. And Kareem, he really should be higher than number 3. He really should be higher than number 3. However, I give Magic the nod because he really just had that I'm changing the game of basketball to Kareem changed the game of basketball too. I would say he did. But I feel like Magic's impact was greater than Kareem's.
Last thing on why I think writers put LeBron in this high esteem is because I believe that they believe that if LeBron was playing in the eras of those people, he would still be as dominant. And body size wise, let's be realistic. We didn't see Jordan guarding people like LeBron. We didn't see, and Magic couldn't do anything. Magic and all those guys couldn't do anything with Jordan athletically. I think LeBron is, if not right there, it's not far. It's by centimeters. You know. So when it comes to the wherewithal, the winning mentality, the cerebral, almost insanity when it comes to studying the game of basketball, I don't think LeBron's there. I think LeBron is he does it, but not on a Jordan or even a Kobe level. But when it comes to the actual game of basketball, and let's be honest, guys, half of these writers don't play the game. Let's be real. When it comes to the game of basketball and you're watching it, you would say, man, this 260-pound monster that can run as fast as anybody from that generation, he would kill them. And we'll never know. We'll never know. But those are the guys that are in prominence. Those are the guys that have more of the following when it comes to what they say. And that's why LeBron is... Yo, don't be surprised if LeBron doesn't take that one spot from at ESPN at some point. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised.
And when ESPN comes out with that list, I will come right back on whatever platform Through the Hallway is on and rebuttal my tail off. That's all I gotta say about that.
What's the biggest snub on the list for you guys?
Isaiah Thomas!
Alright, let's have this conversation.
Okay.
Bro. I love Isaiah Thomas. You know that. You know that the Bad Boys Pistons is my favorite finals team of all time. In 90, 89, it was at 89, 90, 90, 91. My favorite finals. I can watch that documentary at 30 for 30 all day. My favorite Jordan episode was when they was doing the whole... My favorite Last Dance episode. I keep calling it Jordan episode. It's about the Bulls. My favorite Last Dance episode.
It's about Mike.
My favorite Last Dance episode was the one where they were talking about the passing of the torch. With that being said, Rob, as much as I love Isaiah Thomas, he was in some dog fights. D-Wade has more championships than him. Even with injury, D-Wade has better numbers than him. D-Wade was way closer to being an MVP in the league, where Isaiah was not. Okay. I think defensively, D-Wade is just as good. I wouldn't, because Isaiah was a really scrappy defender, but D-Wade can do things that Isaiah couldn't, and there's nothing that Isaiah could do that D-Wade couldn't.
Number one in blocks for shooting.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's things that Isaiah just could not do, but whatever Isaiah could do, D-Wade can do defensively. Offensively, whatever Isaiah could do, D-Wade can do, and give you a next gear. D-Wade ended his career pretty decent three-point shooter.
Like Isaiah.
Here's my argument for Isaiah Thomas, and it's not really an argument for against Dwayne Wade because ultimately I do feel like Isaiah Thomas should be a top 10
player. Before you go to the argument, I do want to say that Isaiah Thomas is way lower than I would have put him at 31. But yeah,
that's why I say he's my biggest snub. But if you back to Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is a way better shooting guard.
Isaiah Thomas
than Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a way better floor general point guard than Dwayne Wade ever will be. And it's the same exact way, vice versa. Right? Dwayne Wade's not a point guard.
But he's
a tool.
But he has seasons where he averaged 7 assists a game.
And Isaiah is a career 19-9. Career.
I hear you, he's a one.
So, and Isaiah also had the record for most assists in the season before John Stockton broke it. He averaged 13.9. So like,
that's not even on his defensive side. 2 steals a game for his career is not bad. He was getting it.
I wasn't even talking about defense. And I'm not even trying to. That's what I was trying to say. I'm not trying to make it a case against Dwayne Wade, right? As far as the player, as far as this list, I look at him as the leader of the Bad Boys Pistons, the person who beat Michael Jordan, the person who beat Larry Bird, the person who beat Magic Johnson. 4 of the greatest players of all time. 3 of the greatest players of all time, right? Gotcha. And then you look on top of the accolades where he was a career 19-9. He had that one season he averaged 13.9 assists, which was the all-time record. He was a Finals MVP, 2-time All-Star MVP, right? I think, to me, on this list, he should be top 10 based on his impact and what he did to ultimately create the best player of all time. He had to go through those Pistons because Isaiah was the leader of that team, right? And it was that beating that they put on Michael Jordan that made him say, okay, I'm going to rate him, and this is going to make me that best player, right? So, my case for against Dwayne Wade, and this is that, I think, point guard position, he's number 2. Dwayne Wade's not number 2 in his position. And that's why I have him higher in this list.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
I disagree that John Stockton is better than AI.
Here we have the highest
Bad stuff with this list.
AI is better than John Stockton.
If you take Rob's argument, if you take what Rob just said and apply it to AI and John Stockton, Rob would have to say that John Stockton was better. Outside of the beating those people on the list, that's what John Stockton did. He was a better floor general than AI.
AI was a bigger icon.
He's a bigger icon.
As well as he's won an MVP.
You think Isaiah's a bigger icon than D-Wade?
No.
I would disagree.
No, I don't think that.
Okay.
I don't think that, but both of my argument for that is just really quick. None of them will win MVP. D-Wade, Isaiah, Allen Iverson won MVP and led his team to the championship that year. He just ran up against one of the most dominant duo of all time.
Just like John Stockton. Well, he would have a championship.
But he ain't never won no MVP. Karl Malone won the MVP. Back to back.
Yeah, I did that.
Different. And this is why making this list is so hard. I think something that stood out to me the most was the highest player that doesn't have a championship is Karl Malone.
And that's the thing. He's over Dirk and Kevin Garnett. Like right before them. So and they have chips. I don't understand that.
Karl Malone,
do you think
Karl Malone's
Dirk?
better than Dirk?
Okay, do you think take list away?
Dirk and KG.
Do you think Dirk?
I'm looking at this list as an all-time list.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do I think Dirk is a better player than Karl Malone? I think Dirk led his team to a championship.
Twice. Right,
He led his team and won a championship.
Dirk didn't play Mike.
I don't care. Dirk played LeBron and Wade and Bosh.
That ain't Mike.
What you mean? He played generational talent.
Right.
You right.
Dirk won.
Mm-hmm.
That's the case I have for Dirk over Karl Malone. Dirk won.
Karl Malone.
They both got
all-time
MVPs.
scorer,
Cool.
top 10 in rebounding.
Okay.
Like,
19,
he's a better.
was it 19
Here's my
seasons,
thing.
18 seasons?
Karl Malone is like one of the
Like-
most consistent power forwards ever. I
Ever,
give him
bro.
that. But he also played with his entire career the all-time leader in assists. Somebody who we just did nothing. So
Dirk played with two great point guards too.
but not his entire career. And they having no 14 assists, and they ain't literally patting the play after him. The pick and roll is literally Stockton to Malone. So like, I get you. I'm saying Dirk is still better than the Mamba. Chip.
What I would like to do as a group, I think it would be fun. I don't know how people would feel about it, but I think we should make our own top 74 list of the last 30 years.
Yeah, and then we
Last
can
30
critique.
years?
Yes, of the last 30 years.
That's
Because that's how long all
That'd be to the 90s.
Yeah, that's how.
that would bring us back to 90s.
That's fine.
That would bring us back to
That'd be
90s.
cool.
The
Maybe
90s
not
season.
top 74 then.
That
That list ain't 74 though. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that list isn't a list of 74 people from the last 30 years.
No, it is. It's everybody.
Yeah.
So there's people that didn't make this list, like say a Brandon Roy,
Okay.
or
Okay. Fair.
that would make our list.
Fair.
You know. So I think that would be
That's
interesting.
interesting.
We're gonna move on, y'all. Yeah, we went over this abysmal list. We're gonna jump into the next topic, guys. We're gonna talk about.
Dr. J too low on this list. Too.
That's
I ain't
another
gonna
thing.
lie.
I don't understand that.
Sticking to
You
basketball.
want to say basketball?
Say basketball. Let's go to someone that may make this list one day in the future. Zion Williamson came out gunning. Let's talk about his rookie year. He started off hurt.
High percentage of rookie.
Wanted to play a lot sooner. Wanted to play a lot longer. Was in contention of making a playoff push with this team out the HC. Who's to tell what they would have done? They wouldn't have done much winning, in my opinion. But I think it was a great show out year show out snippet for Zion Williamson. Shout out to John Moran, he was doing his thing too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Zion, with the hype, everything that's surrounding Zion Williamson and how long it's been surrounding Zion Williamson, I would say to me he's the most hyped player to be drafted since LeBron James.
Fair.
Signing deals before he was stepping on the court, endorsement deals before stepping on the court, being so young and so explosive. What does bother me a little about Zion is the injuries early. That can scare you with someone that's that explosive. LeBron didn't really deal with that early, so didn't. But then again, neither did Derrick Rose until it happened.
Right.
You know, so. But Zion has been accused by his agent. His former agent, excuse me. Let's get that former word out there. By his former agent for receiving money and Duke knowing that he was receiving money to play there.
Want my take?
What we got?
You want my take? You take you.
Y'all talk, man.
Go ahead, Kansas.
I'll go
Go
first.
ahead.
I'm gonna go
Kansas.
I'm gonna go first. My rock chalk J Hard. Shout out to Bill Self and them boys. I say, as much as I want to sit here and bash Zion Williamson for all the stuff in Duke University, bro, this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in. So I can't say one show that Kansas shouldn't be da 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 da, and on the other hand, Duke shouldn't be da da da. So I'm cheering for Zion Williamson.
How do you feel about it?
I feel as if, first off, I feel that former agent is taking advantage of a situation. I think there is some type of souring that happened for this to come out publicly. And I don't really want to know the details of it. I just want them to come up with a solution, honestly. Just because I don't think those details are going to do anybody good. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not mad at Zion, bro. He's a kid from the country of South Carolina. You got some people go over here talking about I can offer you how much money. I don't want to say how much. And I'm still a little kid and I can provide for my family through this. Through playing basketball, something I love to do and I do for free anyways. I'm not mad at him, bro. I mean, I wish he would have had better role models in place to kind of guide him through these waters to help him, like.
So it doesn't sound like you would have been the best one.
I think. Yeah, I'm gonna let John talk on it.
So I did my research on this. I read the article. I looked it up, and it sounded like a case of I'm salty, so I'm about to air everything out. Pretty much what happened was Zion said, "You know what? I'm gonna go with somebody else." Cut the deal up, whatever the case may be. They handled it. He blew up and got more money than he was supposed to, and now she want a piece of the pie. That's what it sounded like. Because number one, if you was in on these deals prior to him signing with Nike, that means that you was going to get that cut. Meaning that you knowingly knew the risk that he was taking. Meaning that you agreed to this and you was complicit in doing so. So now, why are you now coming out to say, well, he did X, Y, and Z, and his parents knew about it, and Duke knew about it. This sounds like somebody who is angry and wants to get their cut. And my thing is this. Duke said, and they have proof, that they followed all of the NCAA rules. That they was compliant with the clearinghouse. That they worked closely with all of the agencies and fully cooperated in the investigation as it's going on and found nothing. So, do I believe that Zion Williamson didn't get money from Duke?
Time out.
Heck no! I know he got some money from some alumni. He's too big to fail. He got too much money. He got too much. And they did anything in their power to do so. However, I think that it's not fair towards him that you're now trying to throw the blame on him and Duke and Coach K. When 9 times out of 10, it don't even be the coaches. It be the alumni that's coming in and the people that's surrounding the campus. And even the university itself sometimes be knowing what's going on. So it's just like bad timing for me. Like, she's angry, she's upset, she's trying to take the whole organization down. And I don't think that's fair towards Zion.
She's bigger than Nino Brown.
That's what I'm saying.
Time out. You said they found nothing?
They found nothing.
They found nothing.
Nothing.
I believe you, but I just want to hear you say it again.
They have a tape pretty much between a conversation between one of a Duke, how would I say? It's associated with Duke.
Representative?
Okay. No, I don't want to say representative. It's too smooth.
Technically,
they're smooth. They learn how to, yes, exactly. They learn how to finesse it. Mm-hmm. So a Duke associate. Mm-hmm. Right? He's not part of the payroll staff, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. They have a conversation saying, well, the mom is asking for X, Y, and Z. And they're like, I know what he's asking for.
Right.
But we got to make it happen. Like, we got to find a way to make it happen.
Okay, so here's my thing. I'm good.
So it's like, stuff like that.
I don't want to hear no back talk about my Jayhawks. They trying to take my boy Bill Self down, and Coach K is too big to take down. That's the NCAA, and that's my take on that, and I'm done.
I think the NCAA is about to get. This is what I said last week. Is confirming my theory that the NCAA is under hot water, and they're trying to deflect and blame it.
But this
on everybody else.
isn't the NCAA here. This is an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I see.
What do you see, Ty?
Like you said, I see an agent that's solid. I was supposed to get more money than expected. The deal that she set up may have went south, and the deal that somebody else set up was effective and profitable, and way more profitable than her deal. And her being his agent, I'm still supposed to get PC. I still want my parts. Understandable. But what I do see is that an agent has a ton of power. Mm-hmm. An agent can, because they know about these things.
Right,
College students aren't supposed to have agents,
but
right?
she's also breaking confidentiality.
But that's and this is my next part, Rob.
Breaking
We're
confidentiality.
talking about, and you spoke on this show about 16 and 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds having agents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These are going to be adults that are going to be taking advantage of these younger people, like you said. The whole Bradley Beal let us know, Jason Tatum let us know,
DeAndre Ayton let us know,
Jamal Crawford. There was somebody else that was very vocal about. I think it was Lou Will. I forget who it was. Very vocal about. We already know that there's an inside job being done with these students getting paid. We've seen countless movies. We've seen countless TV shows. We've seen countless players in college or after college have, a la Reggie Bush, have titles taken away from them based on making money as a student, working with someone to help them with this. At the end of the day, to me, if you ask me, these 17, 16-year-olds that are that good and that focused into the game of basketball or football or sports, and they have visions of next level, and they got their heads on their shoulders right, so people are projecting them to be top projections. And remember, they're great players out there that are all around these parks, all around these streets that are not projected because it's not just basketball. Now I'm projected to be a top pick because they know that's a knucklehead, and if I send him to Xavier right next to Cincinnati with all those urban areas, he's not going to be focused. So that's why his stock dropped. We're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that are going to be just like that. There's going to be some that are actually into the game like Aaron Aflalo, and there's going to be some that are into the streets that aren't knowledgeable about how to go about this process. And now we have adults that are going to take advantage of them, blackmail them, lowball them when they feel like they've been lowballed, into sacrificing parts of their reputation, parts of their upbringing, parts of their money, because Terrell Pryor, like you just said, Terrell Pryor stays in college one more year. He might be a first-round draft pick quarterback. He gets kicked out of college. He was a fourth-round receiver. That's money, bro. Damn, the game of football. That's millions of dollars that he just lost out on. If he was terrible, he still would have got that millions of dollar first paycheck. So these are adults that are going to know this, and our families, our people that are, Mom Duke that slaving 12 hours, 14 hours to make sure she can pay for your AAU tournament, make sure she can pay for your bus trips and all of that. She don't know the game of basketball. She don't know the ins and outs. So now we're going to have agents taking advantage of children, bro. That's what I see.
But why is it that way? Who created these rules?
There has to be.
The NCAA. You can't, we're blaming the victims. The bigger piece of this whole situation is that the NCAA wants to and claims themselves to be a cookie cutter organization that does no wrong, that makes sure they check all their checks and balances, and they're not in the wrong.
So here's what I foresee.
This procedure, this whole situation was created by the rules that you put in place. Because number one, you don't want anybody to go from the pros to the NBA. That's number one, because it was hurting your business.
You want to keep your kids in school.
Exactly.
Make money off them.
But you're hurting them. Right. You're hurting them more than you helping them, because they're already exposed to this stuff before they even get to you. Before they get to you. So now you're saying that whatever they're doing before they get to you is going to be held accountable against them, even though they're making you a whole bunch of money, and then, like you said, they're going to do whatever they want to do, and then out of nowhere, you know what? We have to choose somebody to make an example, to protect our image. To protect our image. So Terrell Pryor, guess what? You can't play this season. Even though we knew what was going on this whole time. We knew he was getting cut. You making money. You going to the Sugar Bowl making us make money. But now I have to make an example to protect my image. That's not fair, bro. And this is what I'm trying to tell you about the NCAA dropping these bombshells. So why now you dropping these bombshells? After the fact that you told everybody that you was wrong. That you changed the... They said it was wrong.
I don't think the NCAA ever said they were wrong.
This is why
they said they would finally comply. They always knew they were wrong.
Right.
They didn't. They can't nobody say nothing to them.
It's like when you having an argument with your mother. Your mother ain't going to... She ain't going to say sorry. She's going to cook dinner. Right. And we like your favorite meal. So now you get your favorite meal.
So here's what I see, John. I see... Granted, the NCAA was playing a sliding game, right? NCAA is playing a game that was only in their favor, like greed to the 1,000th power. Now we got G League. Now we had enough people speak out, and we can go G League first. We got overseas. So from here on out, for me, here on out, if the game of basketball says this is the borderline and this is the borderline and you can't step outside of it, otherwise it's a turnover, you can't say, oh, but the court too small, bro. I want to play on a bigger court. Then go to your bigger court. Because they're going to jack up your money. Don't let them do it no more. Now there's other outlets. Before there wasn't.
Right.
So they had that type of power. But there's no more complaining. If you're going to play in their system, then you have to play by their rules. If the rules of basketball are the rules of basketball, you can only take 2 steps. Then you can't take a third step and say, oh, it's the gather step.
But I feel like they did a terrible hopscotch. They did a butt fumble.
But this right here is not the NCAA to me. This right here is an agent that knew the game that she was getting into, knew the game that the child was getting into, knew it better than the child, knew it better than the parents, and they took advantage of it.
The story?
Who? I don't know.
The media.
Right. Well, duh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And who controls the media most of the time? The organizations that fund it.
Mm-hmm.
And who is one of the major funders of this? This is what I'm saying. I'm just like
at the
more
very
and more
time,
we dig deep into this rabbit hole, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The more and more I can tell you that I feel like, and I feel like the NCAA right now, they understand that they're almost at their wit's end, because this D League thing, this G League thing, is going to kill them.
It's changing the game right now. It really is.
So they're still trying to protect their image. They're still trying to protect it. They want the clean-cut families to believe that the NCAA is going to do right by their child. So I have to expose a superstar who was doing wrong, quote-unquote, and drop this story. But when in the middle of a pandemic, that got nothing to do, even all season, it got nothing to do. Why are we dropping this story now?
I believe that the story was going to drop either way. Same thing with Kevin. Look at Kevin. I know this is not even a cross sports reference. Kevin Hart, 2 years ago, was being blackmailed by a girl that had a tape from him. You either get in front of it,
right,
and control the dialogue, or you let it smack you in the face. If this agent feels as slighted as she seems to be feeling, and because she's on some other stuff.
Yeah, she is.
I want you to admit.
Yeah.
Because that admission, that opens a different Pandora's box that we haven't. That I don't even know where that would lead.
That might lead to her.
I don't think I'm intelligent enough to understand where that would even lead. But
if he purges himself,
this was going to drop regardless.
He can't play basketball, so he's going to put him on the stand. So you have to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a chess move.
And this is why I wish he would have had a more savvy role model to guide him through these.
And that's what I'm trying to say to you. You can say NBA, but that's like saying, yo, we live in, to me, it's like saying, yo, we live in a capitalist world, so get it how you live, be grimy, it don't matter, because that's what they doing at the top, regardless of what. You can't do that, bro. They're taking advantage of children. Zion has been. I've been watching Zion. No, I'm not saying the NCAA. I'm saying that this is the thing that we're opening when you give children agents. Bro, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, the NCAA is more than just basketball and football. It's about education as well.
Right.
And granted, how those educations work, they work funny in those big D1 schools too. And we, as D2 school goers, we know how that works on an even lower level. So God knows what's actually happening on D1 level. In fact, I actually know because we have friends, family members that have been on that level and have shared with us what happens on that level. So we do know how janky it can be inside, though, even academically. But to me, G League and all that stuff is going to take a portion of the students. At the end of the day, basketball is the hardest thing to get into. Everybody in the world plays basketball. Only 60 people are getting drafted a year. The G League may pay you, but how long does that last? The G League is not going to be giving you.
Minimum is $500,000.
And if you tear something, do you know the clauses in that? We don't know yet. So maybe we should research it. Like, because you go ahead and go off for your $500,000.
My thing is,
as a 19-year-old, and you bust your knee.
As a 19-year-old, I'd rather bust my knee making $500,000 in my pocket legally than play for a team,
and
bust my knee, not get no bread, and my draft stock just dropped.
Now here's the other part to it. You might not be that good. When you go into the G League, you're not just playing against a whole bunch of 19 and 18-year-olds. You're going against people that get sent down.
That's fine.
People
That's fine though, because these NBA scouts are the big brother and sister, so they're gonna see. Like, this is the thing about the draft. They don't draft on how good you are. They draft on potential. They don't.
Sometimes.
A lot of the times they draft on potential.
That's fair.
A lot of the times they draft on potential.
A lot of NCAA best players, bro, and I'd be like, well, why doesn't he draft number 1? Because he's killing college, but he reaches potential.
Now here's my other part to that. You're learning in college too. Draymond Green, if he went one and done in the G League, would never have been drafted.
You're also learning the G League. Look at
Not the same, bro.
You're learning how to become a professional basketball player, which is your ultimate goal. You're learning that I have to go to this team meeting. You're learning that I have to be my own self and I have to wake myself up and go to this practice.
Let me say this: the NBA,
or you're not going to make it.
The
Simple as that.
NBA loves the model that soccer has.
I think you learn that a little better in college.
The NBA loves the model that soccer has, where they have prep teams, and from the prep teams you go to your pro team, and then you have your clubs, right? And they have feeder clubs, right? And then you work your way up.
That's what I see the G League.
That model, I feel like the NBA is going to model that after, where it's going to be that, and
almost like a baseball AAA system.
it's just like a AAA system.
Yep.
Minor league basketball, excuse me.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
And there's a lot of.
I'm not against the G League. I am wary about college putting players in a position where they feel like they should forego their education, forego the college process. Because there's so much more to college about learning and growing up. Of course, you can make it without going to college. Of course, some of these people are specifically basketball or football. We're talking about basketball right now. So specifically basketball driven, where that's all they see, and they are that good to make it. And so I'm not trying to say that college is not for everyone.
No.
The G League is not going to be for everyone too, is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to lose stars
To the G League?
to the G League.
Yeah.
I don't think
They're
that'll
going
ever
to
happen.
derail their careers. You won't know because they'll be trash.
I don't think. Here's my thought process. I don't think that'll happen because I see the G League as a feeder program.
Ask your question.
I see. Go ahead.
How many? When high school students coming straight into the NBA, there were a lot of them.
A lot of them. And I feel like
And some of them were stars.
Mm-hmm.
A la Kobe
A la
Bryant.
KG,
A la LeBron James. Kate.
This goes
But
on.
there's some of them,
Jermaine
Like
O'Neal.
or some of them were Kwame Brown.
And here's what I'm saying. The G League is perfect for Kwame Brown. Play against lower competition. You're not playing against Shaq every night. Develop your post hook like you should, because your hands are small. And still get paid. Not saying
The
shit.
G League may be perfect for. Granted, let's say this. Let's use. There's two questions I want to ask you here. One of them just popped in my mind. Let's use Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown goes to the G League. Does he ever make the NBA? Does he ever get an NBA contract that big?
Yes.
Hell no.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I don't think
I'm gonna
so
tell
in
you
a
why.
million years.
I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think he gets a huge NBA contract.
You're gonna get one.
I think he gets at least 1, 2, 3 chances. And here's why. 27-year-old Kwame Brown after 6-7 years in the league. I can see any
7
team.
years in the G League.
I can
No
see
one spends 6-7 years in the G League, bro. They're going to derail the
Andre Ingram was 31 years old. Played his entire. He's still in the G League right now.
He's back in the G League.
Right. But I'm saying there's stories who have made it. I think that's perfect for Kwame Brown. I think he actually gets one of those. I'm filling out a last roster spot. I don't think. And the NBA, I don't think he becomes a starter. Hell no. But I think he develops more as a player. His confidence increases, it doesn't decrease, and I think he becomes an actual decent pro. I'm not saying he has a long career. I think he's not remembered as the biggest bust of all time, though. No, second biggest bust. But even Anthony Bennett, that's a good place for him to go.
And the thing, Todd, like, you can go to G League, you still go to school. If you want to.
You ain't going to school, you're going to G League.
No, you're not. But I'm saying, if you wanted to, you still can go to school. It's not. You don't have to.
Right. You just can't school. Can't
Also, I got a question. I had to do my research. Do you lose NCAA? Oh, becoming a pro, then you get your status?
I think that was the other question I was going to say. With our childhood, we all, as D2 students, at some point have faced that. Yo, I got this semi-pro tournament.
Right.
I seen it in football. You guys seen it in basketball. Yo, I got the semi-pro team. But in the back, I wasn't on my football team. But in the back of my mind, well, I kind of want to walk on. If I play for this semi-pro team, I basically have to forfeit any college eligibility. That's a place where if the G League, but you're saying the G League does do that. the G League does take away.
If you become a G League athlete, then I'm essentially your professional. Yeah. But what I will say is, I envision, and I really appreciate Adam Silver and his vision as a commissioner, because I didn't even see this student out we're talking about, but I can see the G League becoming essentially a minor league, bro.
Exactly.
And literally, like, just like in baseball, you have some dudes who are career minor leaguers. And that's fine, because they making millions of dollars. And then sometimes you got those dudes who are super trash, but they got a shot.
Let me tell you what the G League does.
Answer your question.
And then they work their way up to the MLB. Like, I can see that happening.
If the G League had a Brooklyn team,
I would go to their games.
you go to the games.
I'm trying to go to some Liberty games. You think
Don't do that to Liberty.
they had the number one pick, Ty.
No, I'm saying don't do that to Liberty, comparing them to like the G League.
What I'm trying to say is, I think the G League is more popular than the WNBA. And I would go see the WNBA right now.
You think the G League is more popular?
If you have high school students that's making high school mixtapes and you wanted to see them because social media has been talking about them, and they're in your town,
yeah, I'm extremely.
I would
wary.
go see some G League.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm extremely wary.
it's going to open up more jobs. Too.
I'm extremely wary about 16, 17-year-olds being treated like professionals. I don't think they have.
You're still going to be a minor. You're still going to be a minor.
We're starting with, this is a conversation about agents. We're starting with agents.
Yeah.
They're starting with agents at 15, 16 years old.
But you can't
We're
go
trying
to
them out for colleges and stuff like
So
that.
the thing is this,
Gets
Doc. The thing is that my mother always says it starts from the home, bro. It starts from home.
But everybody homes is not going to be legit.
I get you.
A lot of homes aren't.
That's why, like I said before, high school coaches are going to be important. Way more crucial now. Way more crucial because now they have the influence to do whatever it is that they need to do and point that student in that person, not even student, that person in the right direction. It's going to be it's changing the game on different landscapes.
I hate to be pessimistic about it. It's just so many negative outcomes I can see.
There's a lot of negative
advantage.
But there's a lot of
right now, like
this
conversation started with me feeling like there's an agent taking advantage of a child. Zion Williamson just turned 19. We've known about this guy since he was in 8th grade.
Hold on, is she taking advantage of it?
Is she?
How is she taking advantage of it?
I'm gonna say this.
I want you to go on the stand and either sacrifice your freedom or your money or whatever the case may be, or sacrifice the prestigious program that took you in.
Now,
she should not be able to put him in that position.
She shouldn't be able to put that in position. Where was his parents?
John, what does that say? Everybody's not going to have the.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's important that you have somebody in your corner that you got.
And like I just said about the single mom that's working 14 hours, you don't got the time to understand this stuff, bro.
Son is Zion Williamson,
and if your son is in 9th grade, he breaks his fucking leg, it won't matter who he is anymore. And you still need that 12 to 14-hour job, bro. We putting a lot of pressure on children.
You are putting a lot of pressure on children, but you also giving them the best opportunity too.
I hear that because
it's never
needs to be changed.
It's never. Whenever you have a deal, there's always risk and reward. And for me, the reward is bigger than the risk for the next generation of NBA of basketball players.
I see, and this is my final comment on this, and I think we should transition. But I see the G League as a blessing. I really do. I think the G League, if you have the G League, then you don't have to have necessarily these bigger situations to be put in, as far as what I'm going to put this dude, Coach K, and someone who I in the university has done so much for me, in a bad position, or I put myself in a bad position. It was just, I could forego that, and I have another option.
More options, but like John said, with more options comes more risk, more reward, more opportunity comes all types of opportunity. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are positive. And that's what I'm really wary about. I'm really wary about adults taking advantage of children who are now in this pipeline to NBA way of starting so young.
Before you even get to your agent, you're a minor. So you have to have consent from your parents.
Right. And like,
so
we can have that conversation all day about the parents that aren't there.
Yeah.
The parents that are just as vindictive as some of these agents. You got your no good parents that are... Man, that's my ticket right there. That's my ticket right there. And do whatever in their best interest for their ticket. Damn, I forget the name of the movie. The kid that played Tyreek and Power was He did a basketball movie where he was like the superstar, and his pops was getting money from one of the coaches, and that's why he was playing on a certain AAU team when he was taking a minute. He wasn't going to. They touched on all of that AAU stuff prior to this new. It was one of those conversations that definitely raised eyebrows as to why we need to change the systems, I believe. But here's the change. And like John said, it does begin with the NCAA being at fault. NCAA was being extremely greedy and extremely manipulative, and they took so much advantage of these children, and even caught them while they were adults. Had them gifts that enough people are saying, I'm done with this old white
thinking
money way of doing things. I'm over it. Keep it a stack. That's the thing. So here we are. But let's move on, guys. I kind of understand the NBA, if you guys don't mind. Let's talk about Last Dance really quickly. So we got episode 7 and 8, and that was Kobe won, I believe. Some of the tidbits was Kobe won his third title in '94. Then he left the league. Michael. I'm talking wrong person. Michael won his first title won his third title in '94. His pops died, and his pops was killed.
His pops was killed.
Yeah. The media tried to spin it as something totally different. We talked about that on the show, but his pops was actually murdered. Pops was murdered. He quit. Went to the MLB. Played in the minors. He was coached by my boy Terry Francona. That's my boy. He's coached by Terry Francona. A lot of scouts and analysts of baseball believe that if Major League did not go into a strike, at some point Michael would have made it up. After that, he came back.
He drove in 80 RBIs, bro. Batted 202.
202 and wrote it. It's a terrible batting average, but for someone that was that far removed from baseball,
bro,
be playing against people that have major league hopes.
That's crazy.
Has been playing baseball their whole life.
That's crazy.
That's very good. That's very good. And he started his season with a 13-game. Started his career with a 13-game hitting streak.
Yeah, before they started throwing curveballs.
He was letting Mike hit.
Fastball.
So then during that time, Bulls tried to truck on Scottie Pippen. Got really upset about not getting the last shot of one of the playoff games, and sat out.
Refused to go in the game.
That was a big conversation on the show, and I believe we also had the Bulls. And then they ended it with the glove. The glove wasn't a problem. I had other things on my mind.
I like bringing this point up because people say when Michael Jordan left his team was great. They want to know going blah 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 blah. The year after that, they suck again.
They was like 4 games over 500. They ain't sucking.
Hey, 4 games over 500.
Conference, that's the playoff team.
It was 4 games over 500, and then Scotty started doing stuff like this.
4 games over 500.
That don't suck. I mean, you ain't the Bulls.
Losing the best player in the league means that you had a pretty damn good team around.
Remember that year they also signed Tony Kukoc. They added pieces too.
What year was Kyrie drafted?
I'm not doing the comparison. I'm not doing the comparison. Anyway, I'm saying.
How was Seattle with Ray Allen? Didn't they get Kevin Durant 2 years later? Because they were so trash. But no, I'm just saying, I think the Bulls, they had a good team. They were not a championship team without Jordan. They could have built the championship team without Jordan, I believe. But I definitely believe behind Tony Kukoc and Scottie Pippen on the same.
Tony Kukoc defense.
Let's take that back. Not even the defense. It's the leadership of Jordan that was huge. You know, the leadership.
Filling the gaps for everybody. Being a constant person, always driving and pushing people. And I think what got to me that episode was when he almost cried at the end.
Facts.
And like he was saying,
want to win that way?
Yeah, facts. But he wasn't hurt that like people outside was saying it. I feel like he was hurt because the people that was inside the locker room was saying it. I mean, he was watching it and he's like, yo, but we won 6. Thought that, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't for me. Not it wasn't for me, but I thought that I was pushing you guys the way that you were supposed to be pushed and you would be appreciated after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
The crown, man.
I think
exactly, and that's what got me. It's like, as a leader, you gotta be able to
take that criticism and understand that you are going to be the bad guy. Not everybody's going to like you, bro. Like, and not everybody's going to be acceptable to the way you do stuff. And they might just, smile in your face and hate you behind the scenes. But money talks, championship talks at the end of the day.
I think Steve Kerr put it well too when he said that this was his way. This is just how he saw it being necessary to win. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't take it from him, you wouldn't be able to take it in the playoffs from guys like Gary Payton, Chuck. These are guys that playing against. Those are prominent trash talking people.
Charles Oakley for the Knicks.
Reggie Miller,
Sean Kemp. You feel me? These are guys that. That's what they would play. They played more. The majority of their playoff games were against the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. John Starks, Patrick Ewing, those was Charles Oakley was on that team. Anthony Mason,
David McDaniels.
These is tough, New York, gritty, hearted people. And if you don't come with that Chirac mentality of the 2000s, not the Chirac, talking about the Chief Keef mentality. If you don't come with that Chirac mentality. That Jordan mentality, right now we're gonna leave Kobe mentality to the side, but that Jordan mentality, you don't come with that. You knock me down 8 times, I'm gonna get up 9,
right?
And I'm gonna go right back at you the same way I went at you the first time,
right?
Then you're not gonna win here, right? We don't. That's how. And if you look at the highlights of the other players, Scottie Pippen has highlights where you couldn't, in a blur, you would be able to tell that was Jordan Pippen. Because he going up against the best player, say Patrick Ewing, and dunking on his face. Mm-hmm. You got geniuses and all-stars like Karl Malone, who's 17th on the all-time list, being harassed by Dennis Rodman. Mm-hmm.
That's
you got you talk about a dog, you talk about the highest 3-point percentage in NBA history is Steve Kerr. Talk about John Paxson that we watched over this documentary. I remember playing video games, old video games, NBA Jams and NBA Lives, old video games, and seeing John Paxson, and I like his name. Mm-hmm. But this guy was clutch. This guy was winning, was finishing championships. Mm-hmm. So you have to bring all of that to go 6-0 in the finals.
To 3-peat.
To 3-peat 2 times. That's 2 things that has not been done. Right. To go 6-0 in the finals. And to 3-peat twice, those are 2 things that had, and that's what Jordan was. So if you want to be on this type of boat, this is how our crew works.
Yeah. And he said that in the documentary. He was like, my teammates, they don't understand because they didn't go through what I had to go through.
Mm-hmm. And not all of them won those 6 with them, right? Some of them were just coming off. Some of them,
half of them don't even remember playing against the Pistons knocking them down and getting knocked over, or playing against. The Lakers and the Celtics didn't count, and you know what I mean? Like they didn't go through that. So he set that precedent early, so to understand that in order for you not to go through this, you have to do this. And I think because they didn't go through it, they didn't understand it until after the fact. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the documentary is so important, because especially in this generation where people think that everything's gifted to you. Nah, like you gotta go out there and get it. And then you have to do whatever it takes to get it. And I think that's what Mike kind of showed the world in this documentary. I'm going to do what it takes to get it. And I'm human. I think the most thing that it showed was that he was human. Mm-hmm. And because of the fact that the pressure of life and the pressure of being Michael Jordan got to him, that's why he retired the first time. Yeah, because like I said with the Beyonce thing last week, the media literally did 180 on him.
Yeah,
they turned his back. They started villainizing, making him seem like everything that he did. Right. The fact that they said that he was complicit in his father's murder, bro. Yeah, that was wicked. That's wicked, bro.
Journalism has had some really bad times in history, bro. Yeah, journalism has had some really sour spots. I thought Michael Jordan had accomplished everything he thought he could in basketball. That was more the reason why he retired. Add that to his pop, because he retired after his pops died, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't make that retirement speech until after his dad was dead. So, I think he was just over it.
I think he said that he knew he was going to retire.
He knew he was going to, but he didn't make the speech until after.
Because his dad told him to finish the season.
Right. He knew he was going to. One of the writers. He said that he had a conversation shock the world.
Yeah, he said in the Olympics.
And that was the year
in '92
before.
Olympics.
That was.
He had a conversation with him. He said that, I'm probably going to retire next year and win his third championship. And the only reason why I didn't retire is because Magic and Bird didn't do a three-peat.
Right.
So I'm going to do a three-peat. And then I'm going to retire.
So here's my thing when it comes to comparing it to basketball now. I look at this documentary and I cry real tears for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow.
Because I see a team and say, yo, we gonna keep it together. We gonna figure this out. You talked about the Cavs. You talked about the Celtics. You talked about Detroit. They moved small pieces. But they kept the core together.
You really cry right now.
I believe that's gonna be one of the best documentaries ever written when they finally do it.
Oklahoma City.
But the team that never, the dynasty that never was, bro. You've never seen 3 MVPs on one team in their youth and prime. 3 MVP candidates, 3 MVP winners.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you, that Oklahoma City team wasn't gonna last. There's too many egos. It's like Shaq and Kobe all over again.
What do you mean there's too many egos? I just watched the team with a guy that says, because Jordan's not here, you wouldn't have gave me this shot last year when Jordan was here. You wouldn't have gave me this shot, but you're going to give it to Tony Kukoc now? I ain't playing. Charles Oakley, smack. Dennis Rodman, I'm going to Vegas. Michael Jordan, he can't talk to you about his injury. I got T-Time. Eagles? Phil Jackson. Jerry Claus.
But the one clear understanding.
Is that the man?
This is the man. Not who's the man.
Know the man.
Not who's the man. Not I can get mine too.
Yeah, you know who the man is.
That's the guy right there. On every team he played on. I'm not saying anything against Kevin.
And it was unquestionable.
But I
no
think also Scotty understood. That was the biggest difference. I don't think Russ Westbrook or Kevin Durant understood that I don't need to be the best player. I can fill these other pieces and let you be great at what you really do.
I'm gonna tell you why I feel like they did understand that.
I don't think so.
Because the other two didn't start winning MVPs until until either one of them left, until Kevin Durant left, or until James Harden was moved. So to me, their games were suppressed. And the media has had its dark times, because I remember during all of these seasons where they were spewing all of this bad information and bad news about Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and that just wasn't true.
Wasn't true.
It was not true.
But what I saw was, in the finals, when they made it, the one time, it was the Russell Westbrook game, and Kevin Durant took the last shot. And vice versa. When Russell, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, Scotty knew.
Now here's my other part to this.
Paxton in the corner, I'm ready for you.
At such a young age, I understand you not being able to make those decisions. I think you got to go through that adversity. Miami had to go through that adversity. At the end of the day, LeBron James was the guy, but we were coming off of a year where D Wade almost won MVP against LeBron James. That was the other part to it. I never really bring that up because it doesn't help my argument about the super team. But D Wade was right on that ass for getting MVP the year before. He had so when they got together against the Mavericks, when it came down to the nitty gritty that season, they really didn't know who was the guy. I think with that adversity, you kind of understand who's the guy, and I think also just so Russ be one of my favorite players and studying him, I think that Russ would have been able to take that step back and still have that same dog mentality. The best Russ that I've seen, honestly speaking, is a Russ that always moves. That's with and without the ball. Those years back when James Harden was doing a lot of the point guard duties, Russell Westbrook was a monster off ball. Imagine a point guard trying to jump with him for alley-oop. Good luck. Good luck. And that's how it was a lot of times. The centers couldn't jump with him for alley-oops. So I think if they were able to put that team together, they would have. If they didn't blow it up so soon, and it started with James Harden. They didn't blow it up so soon. I think James Harden was the glue, and I also believe that Russell Westbrook has to respect the people around him. No offense to Victor Oladipo, but he was a young boy when he got there. There wasn't that respect factor of this kid is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Brooks ain't win nothing. To me, that's a young boy out there. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So, respect factor. I think if you threw, and that's why I think it's so important with him being out in Houston. He respects James Harden. He respects D'Antoni. Huge difference. You bring in somebody that they respect. I definitely believed in that time zone. I think even now he respects Kevin Durant. That was his bro. I think you could have made it work. So when I look at these Bulls teams and how they were able to, damn, we really like Charles Oakley. He was a small piece. And like they started with Jeff Green for Kendrick Perkins. I love Jeff Green. I really do. You see Jeff Green hit 1,000,001 game-winning shots. He really, if you go look up his videos of game winners, he has a ton of them.
Yeah, but my thing is this, Ty. The Bulls were this close from breaking away, trading away Scottie Pippen for T-Mac, trading away Scottie Pippen for whoever.
And this close away for trading away James Harden for Kevin Martin. Yeah. That's how it should have been. We should have been this close away.
What Todd's saying is at least they gave it a chance to run it back.
Yeah, man. And I think OKC messed. So when I watched the last dance, I just look at it like, damn, this could have been us in 2030, 2040. Had we had kept that team together.
Or you could just be like John and jump on the bandwagon.
Of Golden State? Mm-hmm. No, I'm good. I'm good. You know why John gets the pass for jumping on the bandwagon? It's the only reason why I'm giving him a pass. Because he's been a Knicks fan. At least being a Heat fan, D-Wade fan, because like I said, I follow the teams. I follow the players, not the teams. I become a part of the team once my player is a franchise part of that team. So D-Wade, I was a Miami Heat fan for a very long time. I still follow Miami. OKC with Russell Westbrook, I still follow OKC now, want them to do good. But John, I've seen prominent years. I've seen 3 championships. As a Raven fan, I've seen 2 championships. As a Boston Red Sox fan, that's probably my most despairing team. But in 2004, I got chased from high school for wearing a Mary Ramirez shirt after we came back from 3-0. So I've got to see some winning. You, on the other hand, have not. I think, what have you seen best in your time? Y'all were you around? You was like 10 when y'all went to the finals.
Yeah,
they got swept, right? They got swept, y'all with Austin Favre.
We got swept that thing.
Yeah, you got swept. Yeah. So, I can understand you bandwagoning here and there.
So you understand me bandwagoning for a team?
Hell no, because you're a Laker fan. Nope.
That's about football.
Nope. You been to the championship. OKC didn't win anything.
Championship.
Come on, son. One time. All right. But y'all had good. Rob, since you've been alive, who's been better, the Knicks or the Falcons?
Falcons made the playoff way more times.
They had Mike Vick. They had the most polarizing player in NFL, and one of the top 5 polarizing players in NFL history for about 5-6 years with Mike Vick. You got one of the best receivers in NFL history. You can't say that.
Quarterback won an MVP.
You can't say that. You got Patrick Ewing.
MVP? No, Patrick Ewing?
No.
Hell
No.
You can't say that. Patrick Ewing was bigger than Georgetown. About LeBron catching all this slack during this Jordan documentary. All right. You think it's great? Do you think it's warranted? Do you think he's catching too much? Do you think this is exactly what it should be? This is what winning looks like? Take a look.
I think Michael Jordan is a marketing genius. And the fact that he said, I'm going to allow you to create the documentary right after LeBron James wins against the Warriors. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he had it set for the...
Not right after.
Essentially after.
That's the allegation.
After. But anyways, I think he's a marketing genius because what he's doing is he's... Just as we were starting to forget. Just as everyone was starting to become a Larry Bird on his head. Like, not Larry Bird as far as like the memories of the steal and the shot and all those legendary stuff that we remember about them was going in the back of our minds.
Bring it back,
coming right back to the front of your face.
It's fresh now.
And I think that it is fair for LeBron James to receive whatever criticism it is in comparison and positive or negatively in this. Because when you say after I just beat that 73-9 team, and you make a whole episode documentary of it, you and your boy, you say I'm the GOAT, you leave yourself up for any type of criticism for anybody to have. So when you do that, and Michael Jordan does this, what's up? This is just media versus media. This is 101, media-wise. That's all it is.
And think it's funny because it kind of speaks for the generations. I think Jordan's generation, the generation slightly before our parents' generation, is more like
I'm gonna let my peers
you know, way more modest than we are. Our generation, Bron's around our age, way more modest, way more. Thank you, appreciate it. I knew I was getting this award today, but I'm not gonna walk in here. Yeah, I know I'm not gonna walk in here turned up because I'm getting this award. I'm gonna walk in here like a man. I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna clap for those, and even when I get up there, I'm gonna talk about those that came before me. I think this generation, our generation, is more, hey, RVD, look at me. So when you look at someone that did beat the 73 and 19, you can kind of understand that. I think LeBron's biggest problem throughout his career, the only stain on his career, is that he's in the wrong generation where everything is recorded, and you want to be a part of that. You bring this, and that's the stuff that he brings on himself. The decision, you brought that on yourself.
I ain't mad at this.
I'm mad about how he went about the decision. That wasn't even a decision. That was
talking about the parade.
Yeah, that was the parade.
The championship.
They didn't even do nothing.
Yeah, I'm mad about that. I was mad about the decision. I'm mad about that.
He has these tidbits, and even with the 73 and 9 thing, there are people that feel that way. I think that was the biggest accomplishment that a player can get. To be down 3-1 to the best team statistically in NBA history and to beat them. They're not just the best team in NBA history, just like the 72 and 10 Bulls. They just came with a championship against me. So to beat that team speaks volumes of your legacy, of how great of a player you are. You don't gotta be recorded saying it, bro.
Now,
you don't gotta make a whole. You don't have them edit that out. Keep that for yourself.
That's why I feel like Jordan will forever be better than LeBron because he is supremely confident.
You think that has something to do with insecurity in Bron? About chasing the GOAT? Chasing the GOAT?
And he says I'm chasing the GOAT in Chicago.
Right.
I'm the man. Me?
Nah, we ain't gonna know. No, I'm not letting you bring LeBron. No, I love Game of Thrones, but don't use that
just play.
Doing LeBron.
I feel like it does say something about you when I don't have to vouch for myself.
Right. Mm-hmm. You said that on the show when we first watched the documentary.
I don't have to vouch for myself. You know you're the best player in the room when you walk in the room and everybody says that you're the best player in the room.
And let's be honest.
And I feel like
in this generation, you have a lot of players that say that, Joe, I've never seen.
You're right.
They're his peers that say that.
But I'm talking about people that before him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Magic and Bird got to a point where they said that he was the best.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Michael. You see what I'm saying? Like Kobe never was like, you the best. Got it. That's a different level of respect.
But Mike would never say that to anybody either, though.
For your elders.
In fairness, Mike would never say that, and Kobe got that from Mike. Mike would never say, "Hey, you next."
That? What?
No, he wouldn't.
Cross me? Nah, I'm dunking on your head.
He wouldn't. He would say, "I see you. You have my number. Call."
And that's what LeBron has done to the younger generation.
You know what I'm saying?
LeBron has been doing that to the younger generation, and he catches slack about that, bro.
LeBron says, "I see that boy Luke.
That boy real. Oh, why is he talking with Ben? Why is he talking with Ben Simmons? Why is he chopping it up with Jason Tatum? What's all this with Lonzo?
Yeah.
Those are your opponents. You're supposed to be.
He's showing love.
Right.
And I get
so
that.
LeBron is in a real.
But I think that what people want to see the competitiveness that Jordan has,
and when he gets
everything.
But that's the thing, though.
And LeBron is not that.
He does that, and we criticize him for that too. Why you not upset? Some of the greatest player in the world.
No, I'm talking.
This nigga bucket. No, he fouled. He down 3-2. He thought he the greatest player in the world. But we criticize it.
Here's my thing. Either way he do, we gonna criticize. So, right? But I was the best LeBron machine. I'm the best player in the world. Yes, you the best player in the world. You know the best team. Simple as that. Even though you end up winning that.
But I think for Mike, what it was is like, see, this is the thing with Mike. He'll get on that. He'll get and talk in the media and hit you with a sub like, oh, Mike about to go off. You know what I mean? You know what's gonna happen, and he's not gonna tell you. He's gonna let the game do the talking for him. Mm-hmm. The game is going to do the talking. So when you look at the clip, you're like, yo, he really was killing him. Like, what? So, for example, that double nickel game when he came back. And everybody, remember the game before, they was like, oh, do Mike still got it? Oh, do I got it? Oh, all right.
See, that's
Double nickel.
that's the thing that puts Mike
like
head and shoulders over a lot of people than me. A lot of people can say, yo, this is a bulletin board game. And have a decent game in a bulletin board game. People can say, yo, this is a statement game and have a good game. But it was like those games where people were looking
he gave
to do something.
He gave
it to you every time.
Mike was so
like, it was no surprise 55s. Oh shoot, he dropped 55 tonight.
Like,
it's his father's birthday and he wanted to. Nah, the intro started. It's Mike's dad's birthday. What is he gonna do for us tonight? I'm gonna drop the date.
I was gonna say
Father's Day is 6:03. Alright, I'll drop 63 points.
Bro, Mike was so good he had to create his own bulletin board material.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get him going. Like not to get a win, just to get me going.
Which was one of the funnier parts of
You heard the episode when you were
Bradford Smith?
Yeah.
You ever heard the story about the Bradford Smith?
The Bradford Smith story
Bro,
and the
that
George
is
Carl story was jokes
hilarious.
too.
Bro, let's talk about George Carl, guys. George Carl ain't doing nothing.
You're not gonna say
What
nothing?
you want me to, if you say hi to him, you messed up. If you say hi, oh, you shook my hand the wrong way.
Shook my hand. Come let me talk to you. I don't like the way he said
He said something. Yeah, he said something. Mike wanted to create a story. Out of the way he looked at me first and acted like he didn't see me first, and then he came over. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, what's
disrespectful?
I ain't mad at George Carl, bro. But that's the type of stuff.
Yo, but you look at
Everybody disrespectful to Mike. Disrespectful. Charles Barkley got the MVP? Disrespectful. Carl Malone got MVP. Oh, yeah, he just.
I wasn't happy about that. So I said I give him this way. You look at Mike, and sometimes I'm looking at the documentaries, like the way he be talking, I'll lace up right now.
Right.
He look like he's talking, I'll lace up right now and give you 30. Like, we're gonna go back into the documentary. But yeah, man. I think LeBron he's receiving a lot of slack from it. And again, like I said earlier, maybe it's the MF crown, bro. This is the ghost you chasing. Mm-hmm. This ghost is bearing his ugly face right now. It's his world. It's his platform. You can't do nothing. It's his platform. So all you can do is take this bulletin board material and at 34 years old, 35 years old, and have the best damn 3-4 years of your career and make your argument. That's all you can do.
And I think that's what you should take away from that. Like using this time, because I remember they were saying when Mike lost to the Magic. Mm-hmm. And then next season he 72-10. Let me remind y'all, you know what I'm saying? So if there's anything like LeBron can use from it, is like carry that with you. Like, yo, right now they're saying that he's like, all right, let me show you out. I mean, just change your approach a little bit. But LeBron is still the best player in the game right now. You know what I'm saying?
Currently
while we're watching TV because KD's out.
Currently.
Okay. But we're gonna see what happens.
Final thing on Mike. To me, why I believe that Michael Jordan is the best player in NBA history is because throughout his career he's done things that we have never seen before. Like he surpassed the people that came before him in whatever measure that may be. Leaving Bill Russell out this list for reasons we can talk another show, but that's why. And for me, if LeBron wants to be that best player ever, you have to do things we have never seen before. And right now, that needs to do more. You need that.
Yep. Unfortunately, you're chasing the best of all time. You gotta be the best of all time, not really elite and great.
Not if I had these guys on my teams.
Right.
If
you can't leave no chance for
ifs
and buts. Gotta be gone. Like love it and hate it tidbits. We talked about the G League earlier. Talked about EuroLeague and Alex Antetokounmpo, Giannis's youngest brother, right? Mm-hmm. Giannis's youngest brother has decided to go EuroLeague overseas for go college, and I'm assuming that means that he plans on being drafted really soon. How do you guys feel about this? Like love or hate it?
I love it. He's been in Milwaukee for the time Giannis has been there. He's actually going to high school out there, some Dominican place. It's called Dominican, sorry. But I like the fact that he's preparing himself to be a pro, and he's trying to do his best to step out of his big brother Giannis's shadow, and make himself be a formidable pro prospect and not just another Antetokounmpo who has potential. I like it, and I'm happy that he didn't go. Happy that he didn't go to college. Honestly, I'm happy he's going overseas, get some money.
I think in the basketball realm of things, just talking basketball, not talking about the other benefits of college versus going overseas, I think that when you are a celebrity already, with your brother being what would have been the 2-time MVP and probably the most polarizing international player there is right now, if not, well, up there with Luka as the most polarizing international players. Wherever you go, it's going to all be about you. America college is not like that. Michael Jordan's son, that's cool. You're going to earn your spot. Like, was it Marcus Jordan? Like he had to do, and that's why he never made the league. You're going to earn your spot. Oh, Tim Hardaway Jr., cool. You're going to earn your spot. You may get here by namesake, but that stops here. That stops at the door in most American college situations. I think if you want to work on just your game, get your game better, like say LaMelo and LiAngelo. They went overseas and it was all about them. We're going to develop these guys, and the other guys are going to play. But the other part to it is, these are guys that wouldn't go pro in the NBA. Now they're about to play alongside NBA hopefuls. They have the opportunity, not saying that people dream of being on documentaries, but they have opportunity to talk about what this person was like with their families, or even bigger audiences, what this person was like at a very young age. What this person was like at a very, a very minute part of their stardom, of the development process, things that we won't be able to see. That's going to be great B tape. So I think going overseas for someone like him, perfect.
Yeah, I like it.
And overseas basketball has,
talent.
It's working in the NBA. Look at the two of the best 5 players right now. Two of the top 2 MVP candidates, 2 of the top 3 MVP candidates are foreign-born players. International players, Giannis and Luka.
Yeah. I like it. Definitely on the aspect of trying to step outside of your big brother shadow. He also low key is going back home because they're in Europe, in Greece.
So probably going back to Greece.
So that would be good for him too. Also, I think the international game gives you more, like you said before, gives you more freeway to work on your individual game. Where college basketball is all about the system.
Right.
It's all about teams, it's all about the system, it's all about the coach and how you fit in.
We didn't get there yet, but that's going to be another, like when you talk about the G League and what it does to the college realm, that might be something that NCAA is going to have to look